So there are two ideas. One idea is that we will have extra classes, which would mean that we will have classes during the mid-semester week and the mid-semester break weeks also. Or another idea is that instead of doing the quizzes in the regular, class, we do the quiz in a separate slot. हम लोगों ने agree करा हुआ है एक extra class के slot के लिए, which is Wednesdays 4:30 to 5:30, 4 to 5:30 p.m. So we can have the quiz on Wednesday evenings at something like 5:15. So what that does is that frees up that gives us about half an hour in the class, because what I have been observing is that with every quiz we are losing around 25 minutes to half an hour in that particular class. So that's a challenge, because that means that we need to take extra classes. So either we take extra classes or we have the quizzes in a separate slot. What do you prefer?
So second option is better.
Second option is better. So okay. So now from now on we will have our quizzes in the Wednesday evening slot, something like 5:15, something like that. Okay. So we'll revert to you with the exact timing. And I really do not want to burden you with a lot of extra classes, but we will don't worry, Garvit, we can plan to have more quizzes. That is the regular slot. If we need more quizzes, we can do them. Don't worry about that aspect. Okay. Lectures में भी होना था, तो quizzes तो lectures तो 13, मतलब there are total of 26 lectures only ना. So alternate lecture में quiz तो 13 ही होनी थी. Don't worry about that. We will count of quizzes we will take care of. I do not want you to be feeling stressed that there are less number of quizzes or something like that. But we will have the quiz in a separate slot from now on. So the lectures are purely lectures, so that we can cover more in the class. Okay. So coming to the class then, we had in the last class we had seen the sheet resistance concept, and we've also talked about how a resistance of a wire is counted or measured or estimated by the terms of number of squares that are there in the wire in the direction that you are passing the current. We also discussed this concept in the office hours subsequently. Then we also looked at lumped RC models and distributed RC models, and we saw that going to a pi model or a 3-segment pi model is almost as accurate as the fully distributed network, and therefore for the back of the envelope calculations we can actually use this one or this one. So they are good enough models for back of the envelope calculations. So now we are kind of closing in on the aspect of components of NVLSI. So we will quickly look at that. And then we are moving into a stage where we will talk about some back of the envelope design methods. Okay. So the SPI network can be used for that purpose. Crosstalk. All of us know what crosstalk is. What is crosstalk?
So interference of one signal with another signal that are running in closely light wires, closely placed wires.
Okay.
Like change in one wire can lead to some spike in the second wire.
Okay. Why does this happen?
So because they are coupled through the capacitor, like the model is like this.
Okay. So what we are saying is that when there are two wires that are running parallel to each other, or above and below each other, for example here, there is a capacitance that exists between those wires. What does a capacitance do? You bring in a delta V here, it will bring in a minus delta V on the other side, or it will. So आप यहाँ पे कुछ delta Q करेंगे, तो because it's a capacitor, the other plate will also need to have a delta Q there. What does this mean? A delta Q on the other side would lead to a delta V appearing on the other plate also. So that is what is the capacitance, and that is what is also called as crosstalk. Okay. Do we want crosstalk or do we not want crosstalk?
We do not want crosstalk, sir.
Why do we not want crosstalk?
Well, this is the
Because it
situation
can
like
make the signal malicious,
You can make the
also-
signal malicious. Okay.
may introduce
sir.
noises.
Akshat, you were saying something?
Yes, sir. Like if we change, if these two are the input lines and we change input on the one line, then the change will also reflected in the second input also, which we do not want.
So if you're changing one line, it is somehow influencing the other line, though you never wanted to change the other line. Any behavior that is different from what you desired is not good, है ना? आप कुछ चाह रहे थे, उसके अलावा कुछ भी हो रहा हो, तो that is not good. So we do not want crosstalk. But crosstalk exists, and it exists, and it is measured by what we call as something like Miller effect. And this Miller factor is dependent on like what are the changes that are expected on the other side. So let us say that there is a signal B over here, which is constant. B is held constant, and A is also constant as of now. Okay, A is constant, B is constant. So what is the total capacitance that A and B see? The total capacitance that A and B see are C ground and C adjacent. Am I right? Now let us assume that B switches in line with A at the same speed in the same direction as A. What happens? Because A is switching like that, B is also switching like that, the capacitance between them does not lead to any extra charge. So जो हमारा डेल्टा क्यू बाय डेल्टा वी वाला फॉर्मूला था, उसमें क्योंकि कुछ एक्स्ट्रा चार्ज की बात ही नहीं हुई, तो इन दोनों के एडजेसेंसी की वजह से, इन दोनों के पास पास होने की वजह से, डिस्पाइट देयर प्रॉक्सिमिटी, बिकॉज नो डेल्टा क्यू वाज कॉज्ड बिकॉज ऑफ बी, you say that this portion of the capacitance vanishes. So your effective capacitance that A sees is CGND. Effective capacitance that B sees is also CGND. Okay. Now, if B was moving in a direction that was different than A, now what happens? B wants to remove charge, A wants to add charge. This capacitor says that I have to remove charge, I have to add charge. It kind of starts to double up. And the effective capacitance that both A and B see is CGND plus 2CADG. And with that, we come to what is called as a Miller capacitance factor, that when the capacitances of B are actually what physically exists, then we say it is 1. Like C adjacent is multiplied by 1, so we say Miller capacitance factor is 1. When both the signals are moving together, then this is 0. And when they are moving in opposite direction, this Miller capacitance factor goes to 2. Now, what is the consequence of this thing happening? Why do we not like this? It's a question I'm asking you. You have to speak.
So since like I'm seeing more capacitance to reach the same voltage values, I will have to shove more current in a smaller amount of time.
Okay. So in one way, you're talking about power consumption increasing.
Yes, sir, and also the peak current will also increase. Like there would be like huge, peak of not huge, but yeah, huge peak of current which has to be provided just so that these capacitor plates can be charged and A and B can be brought up to the voltage they are required to.
Okay. So one thing is power consumption increases, the peak current increases. What else?
So the capacitance are increasing. So the
They are
delay
also
from
reducing. No, they are also reducing. There are times when the capacitance goes to zero also. Adjacent capacitance goes to zero when the Miller factor is capacitance factor is zero. It is not always increasing.
So the delays in the circuit would be dependent on the type of inputs we are choosing.
Delay in a line would depend on the type of input that we are giving. वो तो होगा भी ना. Anyway, if you have an inverter, rise delay and fall delay can be different. So you can say my delays are different. तो ये तो हमेशा हो सकता है. यहाँ पे क्या हुआ?
But so like in this case, it's not about rise and fall delay. It's basically either my rise is bad or fall is bad, and that depends on what is happening in my adjacent wire. So I cannot give a spec which says that
Yes.
rise is bad
Now the
because
delay I cannot anticipate.
That's true.
Initially, the example that I gave, when inverter input was zero, inverter was given an input 0, inverter was given an input 1, the delays are different. I can very well characterize it. But here, when I give an input 1 to the inverter, I do not know what the output delay or the delay at the input of the next stage would be, because there is this wire in between which has crosstalk. And if the adjacent wire, the aggressor wire, is moving in the same direction, my signal will move faster. If it is moving in the opposite direction, my signal will move slower. And I can have setup and hold failures.
Sir, but we can obviously measure the capacitive change to the crosstalk effect. So we can model the delay from that value of C effective which we know.
Yeah, so, but you will not know the exact crosstalk capacitance when you're doing back of the envelope or the schematic design. Na? You will get to see crosstalk only after the physical layout has been made. So you will have to go back to the redesign stage. Do you realize this?
Yes.
We can always do this. This is anyways done. But the problem is this can lead to design changes, size changes. You need to put bigger drivers at some places, weaker drivers at others, and it's a whole mess. You have to do PNR again, and then PNR आपने जब दोबारा से करा तो पता लगा वैसा हुआ ही नहीं. Those two wires are no longer coupling, so you had to revert to the original sizes. It's a very terrible thing. Are you able to see this? Due to some signal which I have no control over, I have no influence over, my delays are increasing or decreasing. And this is not a desirable situation to be in. As a designer, I want to be in full control of my design. Is it not? Or you want your design to do whatever it wants to do? Hello?
Yes, sir. We want to control our design.
So if you want to control our design, then this kind of crosstalk is dangerous for us. So what do we do? What do we do to avoid crosstalk?
Sir, we can use supply rails so that the capacitance will not change with respect to that, because it's always constant. One line is always constant.
Yeah, so between A and B, you run a supply, either VDD or GND, or a static signal which you know will not toggle. So you know that your MCF is always 1. Because when MCF is 1, you can very well model it, you can anticipate, you can do something about it. But as soon as there is this crosstalk happening between the two signals, then your delays go for a toss. At some point, setup time will fail. At another point, hold time will fail, and you cannot do anything about it. Okay, you will need to leave lots of margins, and your circuit performance will degrade. Okay, so this in effect brings us to the yes.
So, but wouldn't this lead to formation of another capacitance with another wire running in between A and B signals? That would form
Yes,
another.
Swapnil. Yeah. So what happens is हमने यहाँ पे A, B, and I put a G and D in between. Let us say. So there is now an additional capacitance. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
है ना, ये एडिशनल कैपेसिटेंस आया, बट जीएनडी का जीएनडी से कोई कैपेसिटेंस नहीं होगा, सो दिस कैपेसिटेंस इज नोशनल, ठीक है. And for A, it still is C adjacent plus C GND. It does not change anything for A. For B also, it doesn't change anything. What you definitely lose is you lose the area. So this extra area you need to give. But if you anyway had a GND being routed somewhere, you instead route it in between these two metals which are doing a crosstalk.
Okay.
Okay. And therefore I said it is not always GND or VDD that you should use. If you know that there is a particular signal which is going to be static. For example, if you're not talking about fully random combinational logic, you're talking about a systematic logic, for example, in a SRAM decoder. And in SRAM decoder, you know that these signals will toggle and these signals will not toggle during evaluation phase. So the signals which will not toggle during the evaluation phase are bound to remain static and stable. They will operate as ground or VDD in that case. So you can route them. So because they are going to be constant, they're not toggling, they will behave as ground or VDD. So you can route them in between the two changing signals and they will act as shielding. Okay. So in that case, you will definitely not lose area. But even if you have to add in some wires, you need to add them because otherwise you will lose area. Otherwise your circuit can fail.
And so one more thing, we are ignoring the capacitances to the top and the bottom layer here.
This is just a model. जितनी भी capacitances हैं स्वप्न सब आएंगी.
हाँ ठीक है.
सब आएंगी. ये खाली आपको मॉडल बताया है एग्जांपल की तरह से समझाने के लिए. Nothing else.
ठीक है.
Okay. Don't assume कि वो नहीं होंगी. वहाँ पे क्रॉस टॉक है तो वो भी आएगी पिक्चर में.
सर इसके अकॉर्डिंग तो मतलब जो क्लॉक होता होगा सर वो बाकी सारे सिग्नल से काफी अलग रखना पड़ता होगा.
Yes, clock is usually surrounded by shielded VDD, ground, whatever. Clock is usually shielded. Okay. So now, what just a quick review. We have studied the MOS capacitor, where we looked at 3 regions of operation and how the capacitance changes across those regions. We looked at the MOS transistor, how it is a voltage controlled current source. क्या आप VGS change करते हो तो current change हो जाता है. How in which region it is operating as a voltage controlled resistor in the linear region, that is. We studied the concept of velocity saturation. We looked at the subthreshold slope, and we also looked at the capacitances in the MOSFET and how they change in the different regions of operation. Finally, we looked at interconnects, their capacitances, their resistance, and how they interact amongst each other. There is crosstalk and what to do with that. Okay. With the devices of VLSI done, so this is all something which is not a part of DVD yet. We have not started DVD yet. Okay. We come to the first circuit, which we have already discussed in the class. So we will be very fast in reviewing this circuit again. But we come to the first circuit of and one of the simplest circuits that will help us understand design better. There was a question. Okay. So we've already seen, we talked about a BJT inverter. We said that, or you must have already studied the BJT inverter. What we said was that the output VO is inverted or the input. And why is that? Because when the input goes high, the resistance or the effective drop across the BJT reduces, and therefore the output goes low. You can sink more current. The entire drop then happens across the RC. And these are the transfer characteristics of the inverter. What is the problem in a BJT inverter? Why did we want to move to the CMOS inverter?
There is
Power
some
dissipation.
I'm sorry?
Sir, power dissipation.
area, power consumption.
Sir, in the CMOS inverter, only a dynamic power dissipation takes place, like very less static power dissipation.
Okay. So we see in this circuit that there is a constant flow of current from the VDD to the ground at whatever it is. जो ही आपका output logic 0 भी गया, 0 जाने के बाद भी there is a constant flow of current that is happening. Am I right? So we do not like this, and therefore we went to what is called as a MOS inverter. हमने पहले तो BJT को MOS से convert करा, and then MOS के भी load को we replaced it with a PMOS, and we said that this is a CMOS inverter, complementary MOS inverter. Why complementary MOS? Because at any given point of time, only one of the two devices will be on. When the input is 0, the PMOS will be on, it will sink current. When the input is 1, the NMOS will be on, it will sink current. It is only during switching that both the devices will be on, which we have already discussed in the class earlier. But otherwise, in a stable state, there is no current that will flow. Are you with me? Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We also made the layout of the inverter. This is how it looks. आपने ऐसा ही कुछ layout बनाया होगा?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me just delve a little bit deeper into why this kind of a layout. And this layout topology is called as standard cell layout topology. It has a few important things that we need to be alert of, and we should take care of when we design our project circuits or when we design the next set of layouts. The first thing is that there is a VDD rail running from edge to edge, and there's a ground rail running from edge to edge. If you want to place another inverter next to it, you will simply copy the same inverter and place it next to it. And what happens? Because the VDD and ground rails are running, the VDD connection automatically comes to the next inverter also. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Any questions still here?
So wouldn't you have to create a second tap for the like VDD or the ground? Like how would the say? Like you are saying that you extend the tap to the next.
No. I'm not extending the tab. I'm simply copying the same thing and abutting it to it. I have one inverter. I simply copy it and place it next to it, wall to wall. Abut it. This is called as abutment. So we abut two inverters. As soon as I abut two inverters, the second inverter, suppose I gave a VDD supply from metal 2 to this place. The next inverter will automatically get a VDD supply. I do not need to run another metal 2 to give the supply there. Are you able to see this? Because यहाँ पे एक metal 1 आ रहा था जो edge to edge था. यहाँ पे जब मैंने इसको कॉपी करा तो edge to edge metal 2 आपस में कनेक्ट हो गए. And finally, I had a full a metal 1 which was connecting the two cells there. Same for the ground. Another very interesting thing to notice that this VDD rail or ground rail is at the boundary. This is the boundary of the cell. It is half inside and half outside. Why? Because if this is the orientation of the cell, for example, then when I need to place in more inverters somewhere, then I would simply vertically flip the cell and place it. So this VDD remains there and GND remains there. So आप अब जब एक clustered way में standard cells को डिजाइन करोगे, जब कोई डिजाइनर बहुत सारे standard cells एक साथ यूज करेगा, तो उसको एक VDD की लाइन दिखेगी, एक GND की लाइन दिखेगी, एक VDD की लाइन दिखेगी और एक GND की लाइन दिखेगी. So VDD, GND, VDD, GND and यहाँ पे भी GND. Are you able to see this?
सर अभी आपने ये वर्टिकल फ्लिपिंग का क्या बोला था?
तो मैंने सबसे पहले आपको अबटमेंट बताया. मैंने कहा ये आपका इन्वर्टर है, इसको आप दूसरे के साथ अबट कर दो, आपका VDD और ग्राउंड ऑटोमेटिकली कनेक्ट हो गए, है ना?
यस सर.
फिर मैंने आपको सेकंड पॉइंट बताया कि जब आपको सेकेंड रो बनानी है, आपको आप सारे स्टैंडर्ड्स, आपको एक बड़ा सा कॉम्बिनेशनल पाथ बनाना है। इतना बड़ा कॉम्बिनेशनल पाथ है कि अगर आप उसको एक लाइन में लगाओगे, सारे सेल्स को खाली अबर्ट करोगे, तो आपका ऐसा सा एक पतला सा एक वो बन जाएगा, डिजाइन बन जाएगा। दिस इज नॉट गुड. So what you do is you instead break it into 2 rows and you make the design like this. Okay, now there are 2 rows of the design, or you can break it into 4 rows and you can make a design like this. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I didn't understand कि वो पतला सा क्या होगा और उससे क्या नुकसान है.
So let us say that you have to make a ring oscillator with 33 inverters.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm saying let us say you have to make a ring oscillator with 33 inverters. What would you do? You would place one inverter, second inverter, third inverter, fourth inverter, fifth inverter, sixth inverter, seventh inverter, and so on. And you will have 33 inverters like this.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes, yes.
Now, you only had this kind of you want a square chip.
Okay.
Okay. Now, how will you fit this 33 inverters wala thing into this square chip? To do a square chip, what do you need to do? For 33, you need to make 5 or 6 rows with 6 inverters each, almost. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes.
So it means you need to make 6 rows with 5 or 6 inverters each. I am talking about how will you connect, like आपने जब 1 2 पहली रो के अंदर प्लेस करा, तो जो नेक्स्ट प्लेस करने हैं, they are after slipping, vertical slipping. This is the जो मैंने डॉट बनाया है, you can say that this dot is your reference point. Okay, you can look at that dot as the reference point in your layout. तो यहाँ पे मैंने डॉट को डॉट की तरह प्लेस करा, तो this was Rx, this is called as Rx, Rx. Okay, यहाँ पे मैंने उसको फ्लिप करके प्लेस करा, इसको मैं कहूंगा MX. MX. MX मतलब मैंने उसको X एक्सिस के अराउंड मिरर कर दिया है. Are you with me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So when what we are saying is that when we have to place standard cells in multiple rows, you would mirror them vertically. Mirror them vertically मतलब mirror across the x-axis. ठीक है? And therefore it is important that you have this ground and VDD rails like this. Now, as we are talking about the rails, do you realize that अगर मेरे को इस इन्वर्टर का साइज अब बड़ा करना है, suppose this inverter is 0.5 micron by 0.3 micron, and now you want to say I want to make an inverter of 0.8 microns CMOS and 0.5 microns NMOS. Let us say. You realize that now you cannot simply go in height more, because आपकी height इधर rows के साथ fix हो गई है. To make the extra, what do you say? To make the device go from 0.5 to 0.8, you would instead make 2 fingers of 0.4 each.
So your voice broke. Can you repeat like the last 5 words?
So because you cannot change the height of a standard cell. See, there will be all different kinds of inverters that you would want to put in these rows. Am I right? हम खाली रिंगो तो नहीं बनाते हैं ना. We make all kinds of circuits. So there will be a NAND gate also, there will be a NOR gate also, there will be a big inverter, a buffer, a clock buffer. So many things will be there in your circuits. With the standard cells, an important thing is that you maintain the height of the standard cell as fixed. If you have to maintain the height of the standard cell as fixed, what happens? इट मीन्स दैट अगर आपको एक बड़ा ट्रांजिस्टर बनाना है तो आपको इसको दो छोटे पैरेलल ट्रांजिस्टर्स की तरह बनाना पड़ेगा, just like this. Do you realize these two transistors are in parallel? मैंने यहाँ पे पॉली को शॉर्ट करा एंड यहाँ पे जो मैं कॉन्टैक्ट बनाऊंगा उसको मैं इससे शॉर्ट कर दूंगा आउटपुट से. Are you with me? So this is called as breaking a bigger device into fingers. Okay. So with the standard cell, you have to fix the height of the cell. You cannot randomly say that now my device is 0.8 microns big, therefore my height of the P well will increase or the N well will increase. You cannot change it. Once you have fixed the location of the ground and the VDD rail, you have to maintain that distance between VDD and ground. There is no way you can change that. Okay? यहाँ तक clear है आप? Any questions? Yes.
So we have splitted the 0.8 into 0.4K 2 fingers to make it one single transistor. So what is preferred? I can break it into 8 individual fingers also of 0.1 micron, and what is kind
so
of
now look at it. If you would break it into 8 fingers of 0.1 microns, then instead of this much area in a row, you are consuming this much area in a row. यहाँ पे सब खाली पड़ा है.
So the finger is just adding those active regions in parallel to each other.
Yeah, but that is also increasing the size of my cell. Na? Now my next cell can be placed only this far away. Na? So if you need to break something into a finger device, it means that you are increasing the area significantly, all of a sudden.
So there's a trade-off,
Yes, you should think of increasing the size of a device only if it is definitely necessary. You should make fingers as large as possible within this height.
And so
if you don't, you will increase area.
Okay. And sir, one more thing. Suppose we would not have any restrictions on the height of this standard cell. हम इसको increase करते. तो मैं एक 0.8 का बनाता and मैं 0.4 वाले के दो बना के finger वाला बनाता. तो performance wise दोनों का same रहता. The area would have been the constraint because of which we are moving to fingers.
Performance पे भी आएंगे थोड़ी देर में. अभी आते हैं उस एस्पेक्ट पे कि फिंगर्स करने से क्या होता है चेंज. तो अभी हम आते हैं उसको भी डिस्कस करते हैं. आप ही लोग नहीं बताएंगे मुझे, मैं नहीं बताऊंगा आपको. बट पहले ही बताओ, ये वाला कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर है?
Yes, sir.
So why my height is fixed here?
My height is fixed because I want to place these cells adjacent to each other. If my height would be changing, then one cell is like this, another cell is this tall, third cell is this tall. VDD came here, ground came here. Ground was connected, but VDD is no longer connected. Do you see this?
Yes, sir.
So I cannot operate like that, na?
Yes, sir.
So the height has to be fixed for all the cells that you are designing. Now, how do we fix this height? You tell me. How would you want to fix this height?
Force the designer to operate in this block, and if he or she wants to add more silicon, then just use more fingers.
So iska matlab, I am one user, I would say that I want to keep this height as 10 microns. You are another user, you will say I want to keep this height as 5 microns. There is a third person who says I want 5.5 microns. There is another person who would say I would want to keep it as 4.8 microns. तो हम सब पागल हो जाएंगे ना फिर.
So I guess you have multiple inverters in series of horizontally placed. So you would consider the height which would actually be most optimal, और बाकी heights को match करने के लिए.
वही तो कह रहा हूँ, कोई एक user के लिए height is 4.85, which is more optimal. For some other user, the way the chip is, 5.1 is more optimal. So what do you do?
So I guess you select the minimum height, minimum वाला जो inverter का height होगा.
Minimum वाला inverter का height मतलब मिनिमम तो आप 0.135 और 0.135 बना सकते हो, तो उसके मतलब तो आप फिंगर्स में ही सारा काम करते रहोगे.
So just make it a standard. So suppose me and you are both working under the same company. The company says that whatever sales you're gonna make for us, we're gonna make of this height. Or maybe like if we are working with multiple companies and we have some standard around, so everyone who makes the sales are going to make of a certain height.
Good. So that is what is called as standard cell topology, है ना? तभी हम इसको standard cell कह रहे हैं. See, at once you arrive at the answer कि भाई standard बना दो तभी होगा काम. That is why it is called as standard cell layout topology. तो ये height क्या होगी? कैसे निकालोगे? अब standard भी बताना है तो कैसे बनाओगे वो standard? What is the basis of making this standard now?
सर एक डाउट था.
हाँ.
सर आपने कहा था कि अभी अगर मल्टीपल फिंगर कर देंगे तो एरिया बढ़ जाएगा. सर अगर ये इसकी विड्थ बहुत ज्यादा थी, उसको हमने डिवाइड बाय 2 करा तो हमारी सिर्फ विड्थ आधी हो गई और हमने उसको साइड बाय साइड प्लेस कर दिया, तो उसमें सर एरिया जितना पहले था वो भी अभी भी तो उतना ही होगा, या अभी उसमें भी सोर्स ड्रेन नए बन जाएंगे इसलिए एरिया बढ़ा?
हाँ, आप यहाँ पे अगर एक्स्ट्रा डिवाइस बनाओगे तो उसका भी तो आपको डीआरसी छोड़ना पड़ेगा ना.
नेक्स्ट वाला जो
नेक्स्ट सेल तो अब यहाँ पे कहीं पड़ सकता है ना. नेक्स्ट सेल सेम लोकेशन
तो उसका नया सोर्स बनाना पड़ा और वो बनाना पड़ा, इसलिए एरिया बढ़ गया. ओके.
So,
okay.
How do you decide the site?
So I have one doubt regarding this fingers only. Can I ask?
Yeah.
So fingers is just the replication of source and or drain region, or is the replication of the complete poly के साथ जो transistor है?
It is making two devices in parallel with each other. So poly has to be shorted, source and drain have to be shorted. Everything has to be shorted.
So you are just breaking that single device into two smaller devices.
Yes, and they are in parallel with each other. Hanji, coming back to my question, how do you decide the standard height?
So we can take the average of all the transistors which we are using.
Again, मेरे दोस्त मैं यही तो कह रहा हूँ. For some person that average would come out to be 4.1. For another one it will come out to be 4.2. For a third person it would come out to be 10, because that is dependent on the speed that guy wants.
Sir, I guess this would be decided during the first जो हमारा जो layout planning का stage होता है कि हम लोग इस standard cell library में बनाएंगे, इतना height रखेंगे और इतने में जितना finger आ जाए वो adjust करना है अपने height में.
हाँ, तो कैसे decide करूँगा मैं randomly? मेरा आज मन है कि मैं इतनी हाइट रखूं, कल मेरा मन कुछ और होगा तो फिर फंस गए.
So depending upon the chip area, इतना chip area divided by number of inverters.
There are chips which are 1 millimeter square. There are chips which are 200 millimeter square.
So like what we can do is like we can give different set of libraries. So we can say that okay, if you want to operate in this rise time, this fall time, you have this standard cell. If you want to operate on this, you have this standard cell. So the faster timing you get, you have to use more wider set of cells, but you have like this fixed discrete steps in which you can walk, and depending on whatever is needed in the design, you can.
How do I decide the first step in the first place?
That you have to do like अभी तक जितने भी सर्किट मैंने बनाए उसमें ये हुआ था तो like all the industry comes together and say okay ठीक है अभी तक हमने ये mostly observe
किया. अरे बाप रे, इसका मतलब Nvidia अपना सारा डेटा सैमसंग के साथ शेयर करेगी और ST के साथ शेयर करेगी. हाँ, तुम तो बर्बाद हो गए सबको. Huh? This doesn't work like that.
So I think it might be constrained by the technologies of the company that they will be using to build it. For example,
how will the technology define it?
Like how better I can achieve by my technology, that will be deciding on the height of it.
Okay, so let me help you guys.
Sir, maybe by the number of rails.
Sorry?
Sir, the number of rail on a chip, maybe like if we want 2 VDD and 2 ground rails, so we will see like how we can fit those rails on the chip equidistance and then decide maybe.
नहीं, metal 1 की rail से क्या फर्क पड़ने वाला है? हाँ.
About the aspect ratio, like if you want to maintain a a square kind of a structure after the standard cell is made.
Yeah, but that again will, number of cells would depend on the complexity of my design. A Cortex M0 would have 12,000 cells. A Cortex M3 has 30,000 cells. Then how will I make out? So, okay, let me help you. So first of all, are you able to see the abutment of inverters in this photo?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now you realize I have to connect an input to this node and I have to take this output somewhere.
Yes.
How would I do it? What I do is I make a pin over here. Okay. And I make a pin over here also. And what I want to do is I want to run a metal 2 and I want to drop a via over here so that this input gets connected. Okay. But this metal 2 is also running over here. How do I connect the output now?
So why do you want to run a metal 2 at the first place over the pins?
Because the cell that was adjacent to it was not connected to it in any way.
No, I mean like you have the pin connected to the input of the first cell. So आपको उसके
हाँ,
बाद
no, पिन कहाँ से आएगी? पिन को मैं सिग्नल कहाँ से दूंगा? How will this metal one get the input signal? What do you mean by a pin? A pin simply means that something from outside can come and connect to this metal wire now.
So it has to have a metal contact over it.
Yes. So some metal via has to be dropped. Some metal has to come. Now the inverter that was just before it is not connected to this input. So over here it was simple. I just connected the two stages by a metal one. But the inverter that was before it is not driving this inverter. So I need to drop a signal here. I need to bring a signal here. कैसे लाऊंगा? Let us say metal 2 से ले आया. ठीक है? And this output also needs to go somewhere, not to the immediate adjacent cell, but to somewhere else. Again, you need a metal 2. So what are we talking about? We're talking about that when I'm talking about this array of standard cells, these rows of standard cells, in between these rows, I have to route other signals so that these standard cells can be connected in the functionality that I desire them to be connected. Am I right? अभी तो हम इन्वर्टर की बात कर रहे हैं. अगर ये NAND गेट होता तो there were 2 NMOSes and there were 2 inputs there. The first input को आप metal 1 से चलो connect कर भी दिया by placing the driver right next to it. But how would you connect the next input? So metals have to be routed over it. So this height is determined by how many metal tracks can I run over this standard cell. What is a metal track? Metal track is जो हमने पिछली क्लास में देखा था, spacing plus width. Minimum spacing plus minimum width of a wire. So yes, this is dependent on technology, because as technology changes, the wire spacing and wire width, minimum wire width and minimum wire spacing changes. So now, once you have some technology linked metric, you say I have 9 track libraries, I have 12 track libraries, I have 14 track libraries, I have 17 track libraries. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. So it is not a random. आज अनुज का मन करा तो उसने कहा 1.8 माइक्रोन के हाइट रखेंगे. परसों सेतु कह रहा है कि नहीं सर 1.8 नहीं 1.1 रखते हैं ना. ऐसे नहीं होता. It has to be done based on what the technology defines, and then you have a standard. You say this is a 9 track library in this technology, this is a 12 track, 14 track, 17 track. Now if there is a user who is working on a high speed microprocessor, he may want to go to 17 track because he is almost always using big drivers. So usko pata hai 17 track will give me the best area. There is another user who is working on an IoT device which is working at a very low frequency. Density is a prime concern. You want to go to 90.
So
because आपने छोटे-छोटे devices ही use करने हैं.
Sir?
Yes.
So what do you exactly mean by tracks? Are these the levels of metals?
No, these are the number of metals I can run in parallel over this.
So on a same level?
Yes, metal 2s, let us say.
Okay. But so metal 2 is over the second layer, right? Metal 1 would be on the first layer, then metal 2 on the second layer.
या मेटल 2 के कितने ट्रैक्स आप रन कर सकते हो अपने सेल के ऊपर, दैट इज योर नंबर ऑफ ट्रैक्स.
Okay. So similar goes for metal 1 also.
मेटल 1 तो आपका ट्रैक की तरह यूज ही नहीं हो रहा ना. मेटल 1 तो आपने पूरा ब्लॉक कर रखा है यहाँ पे. मेटल 1 का ट्रैक कैसे बनाओगे? मेटल 1 का तो आप एक भी आपने मेटल 1 ऐसे डाल दिया तो सारे शॉर्ट हो गए. नॉट अलाउड.
Okay, sir. So it's basically for metal 2, metal 3 and above metal 1 layers.
Yes. How many of such tracks can run on the library? Yes.
सर यू जस्ट सेड हम मेटल 2 के कितने ट्रैक्स बनाएंगे, तो सर मेटल 2 का ट्रैक का मतलब मेटल 2 की लेयर, लाइक मेटल 1 के ऊपर एक मेटल 2 की लेयर होगी, फिर मेटल 2 के ऊपर एक मेटल 3 की लेयर होगी.
No.
तो
मेटल 2 के अंदर कितने मेटल 2s मैं इसके ऊपर जुड़ा सकता हूँ? मैंने अगर ये 4 बनाए तो दिस इज 4 ट्रैक्स. This is defined by minimum spacing that I have to keep between the two metals and the minimum width that I can have a metal for.
सर दिस मींस यहाँ पे ये ट्रैक का मतलब वो मेज टाइप ऑफ जो स्ट्रक्चर बनता है वो होता है ट्रैक, राइट सर?
मेज कहाँ आया? मेश.
या सॉरी,
क्या कहना चाह रहे?
स्ट्रक्चर सर वही मतलब वो जो एग्जैक्ट टाइप का वो जो
नहीं, नहीं वो नहीं, because finally you may not have a mesh. Finally you may just have a metal 2 coming over here, something going out from here, then some metal 2 going like this and another metal 2 going like this. यहाँ पे आके then it went to metal 3 and it went like this. It could happen. Okay. So you may not really have a mesh on every cell and in every row. We are talking about the maximum capacity of the mesh that you can make. ऐसा कह सकते हैं, but necessarily mesh नहीं बनेगा.
So
yes.
So suppose you have the standard cell जिसमें हमारे ये दो इन्वर्टर ही हैं, तो इसमें हमारे को M2 लेयर की तो एक ही जगह जरूरत हुई जहाँ पे आपको उसका इनपुट को उससे आगे कनेक्ट करना है उसके आउटपुट से, ताकि हम लोग एक पाए. सो आई एम नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ऐसी कौन सी कंडीशन होंगी जो हमारे पास बहुत सारी मेटल 2 की लेयर्स लगानी पड़ेगी हमारे को, जो
एक्चुअली consider an adder. How would you design an adder? An adder would have XOR gates and AND gates and propagate and carry signals coming there.
Okay.
And you want to make a 32-bit adder, not just 1-bit adder. How many standard cells are you talking about?
Probably many.
Hundreds of them. And hundreds of interconnects between those standard cells.
Yes.
So you will have to run multiple layers over every cell, na?
I mean each cell would have a predefined connection, ना? तो metal 2 की लेयर तो एक ही चाहिए होगी ना एक सेल को, मैं ये सोच रहा था.
हाँ लेकिन अच्छा चलो, मेरा A यहाँ था, A कह रहा हूँ. Let us say my A0 was here. Adder की बात करें, my B0 was here. Let us say, अब मेरे को इन दोनों को ऐड करना है, तो क्या होगा? A0 यहाँ पे इधर जनरेट हुआ, इस इन्वर्टर ने A0 को बफर करा, इधर इस इन्वर्टर ने B0 को बफर करा. मेरे को अब एक NAND गेट बनाना है जिसके अंदर ये जाए और इनका प्रोपेगेट डिटरमिन हो जाए कि प्रोपेगेट होगा कि जनरेट होगा, फॉर एग्जाम्पल. तो NAND गेट सपोज यहाँ पड़ा है. अब ये A0 और B0 यहाँ कैसे जाएंगे? They will run over here, then they will go here. This will run over here, this will go over here. Now consider an inverter over here. It did not need to connect to this A0, but it needed to have the space to allow A0 to travel from above it, na?
Okay. So it might not directly have the connection, but it might be actually facilitating the wires for some other signals जो ऊपर से निकल रहे हैं.
It is the routing resource that you are able to provide to the designer.
Okay.
In a 90 library, the routing resources are least. Wires are very, very close together. In a 17-track library, not only are your drivers big, you can also have more routing resources, so your wires can also be spaced apart coupling capacitances would also be less. But the area is almost double. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir. Yes.
सर
ठीक है? Yes.
सर जैसे इसमें 9 ट्रैक्स में हम
हम्म।
लेआउट पे 9 ट्रैक्स पहले बिछा देंगे, फिर जो हमें M2 M1 को कनेक्ट करना है उसमें हम वायर डाल देंगे, ऐसे कुछ है?
So आपके स्टैंडर्ड सेल में आप यहाँ ध्यान दें, एक भी मेटल 2 यूज नहीं करा गया है. In a standard cell, you will not use metal 2s at all. In 65 nanometer standard cells that you will make, you will not use metal 2s. Okay? In your project, you should not use metal 2. Unless you're going to a circuit like an adder, which involves multiple standard cells to be used and interconnected. Inside a standard cell, you're not using any metal, and any metal 2 or higher. Okay? So yes, what is done is, टेक्स्ट के अंदर मेटल 2 के वो बना दिए जाते हैं, ग्रिड बना दी जाती है टेक्स्ट के अंदर, टेक्स्ट लेयर में. सो दिस इज नॉट रियली मेटल 2 लेयर, दिस इज टेक्स्ट लेयर. इट इज नॉट गोइंग ऑन सिलिकॉन. एंड जब आप डिजाइन करते हो तो आप देखते हो कि आपकी जो पिन आप बना रहे हो, फॉर एग्जांपल आपको इस आउटपुट को पिन बनाना है, तो आप ऐसे बनाओगे कि कम से कम 2 ट्रैक से मैं इस पिन को टैप कर पाऊं. आप इतनी बड़ी पिन बनाओगे कि बाई चांस ये वाला ट्रैक ऑक्युपाइड हुआ विद सम अदर सिग्नल, द यूजर शुड बी एबल टू एक्सेस माय पिन फ्रॉम द अदर ट्रैक. एवरी पिन शुड कम फ्रॉम 2 ट्रैक्स, बट यू डोंट नीड टू बॉदर अबाउट इट. हम अभी इस कोर्स में इतना ध्यान नहीं देंगे, बट सिंस यू आस्क्ड, आई एम टेलिंग यू द आंसर. ओके?
ओके सर, तो बेसिकली हम 9 ट्रैक्स नहीं डालते हैं, वो टेक्स्ट फाइल में हम डालते हैं.
हाँ, दे आर जस्ट, जैसे आप पीपीटी में अगर बनाओ तो आप रूलर गाइड्स सेट कर सकते हो ना. दे हेल्प यू डिसाइड कि आपका सेल, जो आपने जो फिगर डाली वो सेंटर में आ रही है पेज के कि नहीं आ रही, अलग अलग चीजें अलाइन है कि नहीं है. तो दे आर लाइक, दे दोज एक्ट लाइक गाइड्स, दे आर टेक्स्ट गाइड्स, बट दे आर नॉट मेटल्स दैट यू आर एडिंग. ओके? सो नाउ देयर इज, सो हमने 3-4 चीजें ऑलरेडी बात कर ली हैं स्टैंडर्ड सेल लेआउट के लिए. Another important thing that we need to take care of is that when I abut any 2 cells, there should be no DRC error. What does this mean? This means that for every layer that I am using in my standard cell, except this VDD and ground, okay? For every layer that I am using, I have to leave at least 1/2 DRC spacing from the PR boundary of the cell, from the boundary of the cell at which you will bring about an abutment. हाफ DRC यहाँ से आएगा, हाफ DRC यहाँ से आएगा, and effectively आपका पूरा DRC हो जाएगा. ठीक है? For everything, this metal has to be half DRC away, everything has to be half DRC away from the cell boundary. Are you with me? Any questions still here? Then another important thing that you would want to consider, probably want to consider, is that you would not want to completely block metal 1 also. अब इस केस में जो आपने इन्वर्टर दिखाया है यहाँ पे आपने चार कॉन्टैक्ट्स बना के इधर मेटल 1 ब्लॉक कर दिया, 4 कॉन्टैक्ट्स बना के इधर भी मेटल 1 ब्लॉक कर दिया. So what you would probably want to do, if you do not have a very big inverter, so to say, you would probably want to make just 1 or 2 contacts here and 1 or 2 contacts over here, so that this metal 2 is not there. The extra metal 2s are not there. Why? Because you want to reduce the overall capacitance also. 2 contacts are very, very good. You don't need to worry about that. यहाँ पे भी 1 contact or 2 contacts, and that should be good enough. Okay? So half DRCs, and then यहाँ पे चाहे फोटो में हमने मैक्सिमम कॉन्टैक्ट्स बनाए हुए हैं, आप अगर एक डिवाइस को इंस्टेंशिएट करके लाएंगे तो आपको सारे कॉन्टैक्ट्स दिखेंगे, बट अ गुड डिजाइनर वुड रिमूव सम कॉन्टैक्ट्स. सपोज 2 कॉन्टैक्ट्स हटा दिए, just to reduce the capacitance between the gate and the contacts. आप जान रहे हैं ना? See, जितने ज्यादा कॉन्टैक्ट्स हैं उतना उतना ज्यादा गेट टू ड्रेन या सोर्स कैपेसिटेंस भी है, उतने आपके डिलेज बढ़ते जाएंगे. As a good designer, you should not go with maximum number of contacts at all times. You should be
As in-
judicious.
As in remove those yellow crosses. That is what, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
ठीक है,
So
sir.
you have to keep all these things in mind for your next layouts. Okay. This was so अभी तक जो हमने देखा, फॉर एग्जाम्पल हमने यहाँ पे भी स्ट्रैप की बात नहीं करी थी, है ना? जबकि जब आपने अभी इन्वर्टर बनाया था तो आपको स्ट्रैप भी बनाना पड़ा था. तो क्या करा जाता है, आप कहते हो कि यार देखो मेरा इतना बड़ा जब एरे मैंने बनाया
Hello,
ना.
sir.
हाँ जी.
Sir,
Yes.
can you explain those things in English?
Okay, I'm sorry. Which things did I speak in Hindi? I forgot. What part did you not understand?
Mostly,
Huh?
I mean, mostly you had spoken in English only, Hindi only, sir.
Okay. So what I was saying was that you should reduce the number of contacts over here so that you can reduce the overall capacitance between the gate and the source and drain. So when you will instantiate transistors in your library, in your layouts, you will get all the contacts there, but you should avoid putting all the contacts. You should remove some of them so that your circuit is operating faster. The capacitances are lesser, so your circuit also has lower power. Okay. This half DRC concept was clear?
No, sir.
This
Sir, also I have a doubt regarding.
Wait.
I mean,
Did I
removing
talk about half DRC concept in Hindi or in English?
Sir, I understood little that we have to maintain, we have to follow DRC rules even to combine two circuits. So, if we contribute half DRC to each of the circuit, then it will be fine,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah. You had another question. Please ask.
Sir, to remove, you said that we have to remove some contacts to reduce capacitance.
Yes.
But while layout, we are bringing inbuilt circuits for NMOS and PMOS. How can we remove those contacts?
You flatten them and remove them. You flatten the instance and remove the contacts.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So in this, we do not put the straps. So what will happen if you do not put the straps? Then you will get all those ERC errors and LVS will fail. So what is done is you say that I will not put straps in every cell. Instead, what I will do is I will put strap cells at the edge of every row. Okay. Every row in such a way that this is one DRC and this is one DRC. In fact, the DRC should overlap a little. You should never violate the DRC. Okay. So what happens? Every device has a strap connection within the minimum DRC requirement. But you do not put straps in every cell, because what happens? If you want to put straps in every cell, then you will waste a lot of area in every cell. Over here in this design, they have put straps in every inverter. And this wastes a lot of area. So in advanced technologies and today's designs, no one puts straps inside the standard cell. They are put on the row level or in the array level when you make your design finally. Okay. Are you with me till now?
So can you please quickly repeat? Like I'm not able to visualize physically what strap is.
Strap is this. Okay, so strap is the substrate connection. So what have you done over here? This was the N well. You've made a so this was a P well. You made a
P-tap, na?
Yeah, P-tap. You made a P plus layer over here and you've given the connection. So this is the substrate connection. If you do not make these straps, then you will get ERC errors and DRC errors that your substrate is not connected.
I mean, like this comes palace instantiation, like when we move from स्कीमेटिक टू लेआउट, ये तो पहले से हमारे पास बन के आता है, सबस्ट्रेट हमने स्कीमेटिक में कनेक्ट कर दिया ऑलरेडी ग्राउंड से।
नो, बन के नहीं आता। आपका जब आपने लेआउट बनाया था इन्वर्टर का, तो क्या आपका स्ट्रैप कनेक्शन बना हुआ था? नहीं ना, आपने स्ट्रैप कनेक्शन अलग से लगाया होगा। You must have put a strap connection separately. You just instantiated inverters in the layout.
Sir, this strap connection is P-tap only, na?
Yes, P-tap and N-tap. N-tap in the N well, P-tap in the P well.
Okay, sir.
Substrate connection. Okay. So in SANET cells, you do not make the substrate connections. You ignore that error for now. You say it will be taken care of when multiple SANET cells are connected in a row. At the row level, this will be taken care of. Okay.
Sir, you want to say that we don't need to put multiple P-tap, or you can see it as a strap. So with the help of a single strap only, we would connect them like this. Is it correct, sir?
Yes, I am saying that there is this row. Instead of putting strap in every cell over here, so if I have to put strap in every cell, every row becomes very tall. Am I right? There is a P strap and there is an N strap. It's not needed. There is a DRC which says that up to 32 microns, you can have a device without a strap right there. So instead, what I do is I make a row, I make cells in it, and then I put a strap on this end and I put a strap on that end. And I ensure that this spacing is less than 64. So whether a device was here or a device was here, it had a strap in its vicinity within 32 microns of its cells. Is this clear?
And the individual connection is what is going from those rails which we had, the VDD and the ground.
Yeah, VDD and ground is like this. It's running anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. So with this, we come to the lecture that we have already covered, which was the DC response of an inverter. What happens when the input is VDD and output is ground and vice versa? Yes.
Sir, during layouts, we used N-tap, P-taps for ground connection, sir. But you are saying here that ground connection is different from strap.
You gave a ground connection to the NMOS and you gave a ground connection to the substrate. You use the P-tap for the substrate only, na?
Yes, sir. Sir, what is the purpose of connecting ground to?
So when you make a device, so when you make a NMOS, when you make a NMOS or an inverter, you also have a substrate connection, is it not? So
Yes,
it is that connection that you make through the strap, through the P-tap, N-tap, whatever you are making. If you do not have the body biased, how will you ensure that your system is in accumulation or see, we did all those MOS capacitors and MOS capacitances, everything. It needed a body connection, na? That was after this, the body connection that we did the band bending and everything else. So body connection you always need.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a doubt. Between those two steps, what is the circuit lying, sir?
You tell me, what is the circuit? What is the circuit? You tell me. What is this?
Hello?
Yeah, you tell me what is this circuit?
Inverter circuit.
Yeah, so why are you asking me?
It's an inverter, sir.
Yes, it's an inverter.
But we are giving steps. But we are giving steps at the gate terminals, right, sir?
Why? Where is the strap at the gate terminal? Gate terminal is getting a metal one, which is input.
I am asking in the diagram you had drawn, sir. I mean, in between two steps, you had drawn some circuit now.
This. You're talking about this that I had made. Symbol. Where did I draw a strap on the gate?
In that not, sir. In this rectangle, you had drawn some circuits, and after that, you attached two straps on either side, right?
Oh, this one. This one you are saying?
Yes, sir.
These ones.
Yeah, sir.
Who
Yes,
said
sir.
this
Yes.
is not the gate?
Where
No?
are
This
those
is not,
connections lying?
they are simply standard cells. So it would also, what would this strap cell look like? The strap cell would possibly look something like this. It would also have metal one over it. In between, there will be a N tap. The N well would continue like this. And then over here, it will be a P tap. And the ground will continue like this. So this will be your strap cell. It has nothing else in it. The VDD will come to this. There will be a contact here. The ground will come to this. There will be a contact here. That's all that you have in a P tap or in the strap cell.
Okay, sir. Now I understood it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now with all this layout thing also settled, we quickly look at the DC response of the inverter, which we have already seen earlier in the class. Okay. And over here, we are looking at the graphical insight of this. We already know this information that the device NMOS is in cutoff and linear in various regions at different levels of VGS and VDS. We already know about the characteristics and hello. Yeah. Okay. And we already know about these characteristics. And we had also already seen that when you would move V in from 0 to 1 and or 1 to 0, how would the current change across these two? We had already seen this set of curves. Am I right? हमने अलग अलग पोजीशंस में कहाँ पे आपका 1 2 3 4 5 पॉइंट्स रहेंगे. We had already seen this curve in the class. You remember that? And then we had said that this is my current waveform. This is the trajectory in which the transistors have moved. You remember this? Exactly this thing we had done. So without the slides at that time. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then what we had also done was we had looked at where are different devices and different points A, B, C, D, E. This we had already done. Actually, इसी के basis पे we had made the previous curve. And then what we had done was we had made the current curves. Okay. So after that, we had made the current curves, the current from the PMOS and the current from the NMOS. Then you have a 0 to 1 transition at the output. And through this, we had also agreed that I can estimate the load capacitance by integrating this part or integrating the whole and then subtracting the NMOS wala current from here. And I will be able to get the charge that is stored on the capacitor. So if I know the voltage at the capacitor after the stability, after the output has been stabilized, I can quickly estimate the capacitor of at the load. Yeah, we have done all this. Are you with me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we've done all this, and therefore I'm quickly moving into this. Now, we had not talked about the beta ratio or the concept of skewed gates at that time. We can talk about it now, where it is said that I would ideally want PMOS and NMOS to, like, you know, the output to switch from 0 to 1 at VDD by 2. When the input is VDD by 2, my output is actually switching from 0 to 1. But if I keep a much larger PMOS than a NMOS, then what happens? My input is going from 0 towards VDD. It has reached VDD by 2. My PMOS should have been turned off or should start to turn off. But because the PMOS is very, very large and the NMOS is very, very small, the kind of off current it is sending is still much more than the on current it can sink. So my output continues to remain 1 for longer. Okay, and I'm still not able to discharge the capacitor. Only after my input goes to a very high level, I start to discharge the capacitor and my curve shifts from here to here. Are you with me? Are you able to see this?
सर ये बीटा रेशियो सर होता क्या है मतलब?
Beta ratio is the ratio of the size or the current driving capability of the PMOS and the NMOS. Okay, so when we looked at these two current curves, we had said that we had sized the devices such that almost at VDD by 2, I would start to discharge the capacitors. This thing would start. Okay. Now, if I increase the size of my NMOS, what happens? This smaller curve would start to be like this. It still has a lot of current going through this. Okay. And the larger curve or the upper curve, because the PMOS is the same size, I just sized up the NMOS. Now it needs to take longer to get the same charge to the capacitor. Are you with me? Is this clear?
Sir, what is beta P? Like any expression?
The current driving capability of the PMOS.
Okay, okay.
Okay, and beta N is the current driving capability of the NMOS. Okay? So if you change the sizes, I'm sorry?
So what are the factors on which this beta current driving capability is dependent upon? Means on the size.
Yeah. What is the equation of the current? W by L, K, K, W by L, VDD. So VDD and VT are, you may say, VT size, VDD minus VT the whole square, let us say. The W and the VT of the device, they are the two primary factors that would differentiate. K, obviously, mobility is different for NMOS and PMOS. Same size NMOS would have much larger drive capability than the same size PMOS in 65 nanometer. In advanced technologies, we have put stress factors such that mobility of NMOS and PMOS is almost same. But in 65 nanometers, you can fairly say that mobility will also impact. Okay?
Okay, sir.
So this also takes us to another thing where we say that when I give an output 0 or a 1, when should I consider an output to be logical high or a logical low? And what kind of input range should I consider as low and high? So ideally, मैंने कहा कि मैं VDD by 2 पे टारगेट करता हूं. So anything lower than VDD by 2, I should consider as input low and my output should go to high. And anything more than VDD by 2, I should consider that as high and my output should go to low. But that is not usually done. We say, okay, 40%, 60%, something like this. This is indeterminate region. Why do we say this? Because we know that if there are these long wires, there would be crosstalk, due to which there could be some ripples over there. So we leave some margin for noise, for such things. So हम input को थोड़ा सा indeterminate region छोड़ देते हैं. And at the output, I say, because this is now in the control of me as a designer, I say I will take the output to lower than a particular level or higher than a particular level. This is called as logical high. Okay? And the gap between these is called as noise margin. Okay? We want these noise margins to be large. What does large noise margin mean? That my output is driven to a very good output level, 0 or 1. Okay? When I change the beta ratio, what happens? The noise margins change. Noise margin is basically the gap between, what do you say? To maximize noise margins, we have to maximize, the gap between the unity gain parts of the circuit. Okay. So I think we will come to the transient response only in the next class, but that's okay. ये सारा काम आप कर चुके हैं अपने assignment में, but we will formally cover it in the next class now. Okay, and then we will go to delay models, which is the back of the envelope calculations. Is that fine? Any questions till now?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a doubt in metal tracks.
Okay. Please ask.
Sir, when you said that to keep height of the standard cell constant, to keep the height standard, we use metal tracks such as 90, 17T. सर मुझे ये डाउट है कि जो फॉर एग्जांपल अभी ये दो इन्वर्टर हमने अवर्ट किए हैं सर, अब इसके अंदर हमें मेटल लेयर 2 फॉर एग्जांपल फॉर एजम्पशन मेरे को मेटल लेयर 2 सिर्फ एक बार चाहिए।
हाँ।
तो सर अब मैं इस पे कौन सा मेटल ट्रैक यूज करूंगा?
I will use the metal track which is not, suppose मेरे को जो metal 2 चाहिए वो pass through की तरह चाहिए. I will use say this metal track somewhere there where I am not violating the pins of any of these 4 devices.
तो सर I will use 90 track और 17T track. सर ये बहुत confusion हो रहा है.
So 17 track or 9 track library is the one that you made a choice early on depending on your application.
Okay.
अगर आप हाई स्पीड डिजाइन में हो तो आप कहोगे मैं 14 ट्रैक यूज कर रहा हूँ. अगर आप अल्ट्रा लो वोल्टेज डिजाइन में हो तो आप कह सकते हो कि मैं 17 ट्रैक यूज कर रहा हूँ, बिकॉज आई नीड बिग डिवाइसेस टू गेट द स्पीड to reduce the variations. So that is already decided for you.
And
or
so
as an architect, you will decide early on. As soon as you have the system specification, you should be able to decide.
Okay, sir. And sir, for example, से मैंने अपने application के according 17T track use किया है. तो सर जब मैं उसका layout ready करूँगा तो मुझे 17T track का by default बने हुए आएगा या फिर मुझे उसको 17 tracks में divide करना पड़ेगा?
No, आपको बना बनाया ऐसा लाइब्रेरी आएगा जिसके अंदर आपको 17 ट्रैक्स मिल जाएंगे पर रो.
ओके, और जितने मैं कनेक्ट करना चाहता हूँ मैं अपने अकॉर्डिंग कर सकता हूँ डिपेंडिंग ऑन
या.
थैंक यू सर.
सो जब आप उस पर्सपेक्टिव से देख रहे हो साहिल, तो आप एक सिस्टम डिजाइनर हो. मैं अभी आपको इस कोर्स में लेआउट या सेल डिजाइनर की तरह से पढ़ाऊंगा, बट वो सिस्टम में यूज कैसे होता है वो भी मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ साथ के साथ. ओके
ओके सर, थैंक यू सो मच.
या.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to confirm one thing that can we imagine step cells as just encapsulation for the p-taps or n-taps, or are they something different?
Sorry, दोबारा से बोलो.
I just want to confirm that can I imagine step cells as just a term to encapsulate the n-taps or p-tap cells?
Yeah.
Or is it something different?
Yeah. Strap cells only have n-taps and p-taps in them, nothing else.
Oh,
okay.
So
yes.
So can we quickly go to the noise margin wala part?
Okay.
So we have that जो input का जो VIL होता है, I know that what the noise margin is, like it is the difference between the low वाला जो range है उसका input का और output वाले का जो difference है, low वाले का. But how is it that the input का जो low वाला जो region है that is higher than kind of a output region? I was not able to.
Okay, so what happens is you say that मेरे input पे कोई भी गंदी slope भी आई, so I gave a bad slope at the input. But my device or my circuit is such that it will convert it into a good slope. So कहने का मतलब क्या हुआ कि my input had still not toggled. My input was still going from VDD to ground to VDD. ठीक है, and यहाँ पे ही, या यहाँ पे नहीं, indeterminate region के बाद कहेंगे हम, यहाँ पे ही उसने इसको 1 मान लिया. ओके, एंड मेरे डिवाइस के साइजेस ऐसे थे कि उसने इधर ही 1 मान के यहाँ पे 0 दे दिया. तो भी आपका इनपुट एक्चुअली 80% ऑफ VDD भी नहीं पहुंचा था, कि आपका आउटपुट आ गया 20% ऑफ VDD पे, 20% ऑफ 20% ऑफ VDD पे. तो आपने क्या करा है, आपने बेसिकली एक बैड इनपुट को एक गुड आउटपुट में कन्वर्ट कर दिया है.
So that is what is maximizing noise margin called.
Yes. That is what you, so basically in very long lines जहाँ पे आपका बहुत सारा क्रॉस टॉक होने का डर रहता है and so on, you therefore insert some such buffers every now and then so that you increase the noise margin. ऐसा ना हो कि क्रॉस टॉक की वजह से आपका आगे पहुंचते पहुंचते सिग्नल की इंटीग्रिटी खराब हो जाए. ओके,
Yes, sir.
एनीथिंग एल्स?
सर
यस साहिल.
सर इज देयर एनी सोर्स कि मैं ट्रैक्स एंड स्ट्रैप्स के बारे में थोड़ा डिटेल में पढ़ सकूं, ताकि कोई डाउट हो मैं आपसे पूछ सकूं?
स्ट्रैप्स के बारे में तो मिल जाएगा साहिल. ट्रैक्स का आई डोंट नो, आई हैव नॉट सीन अ बुक. You can just Google once and see. I don't know.
Okay, sir.
So again, you know, that is the challenge you will always face with me. I am telling you stuff which you will not find in books, but that is also the advantage, because you will never find this in books. None of your competitors, none of, you know, no other college will ever tell you this stuff. So
yes,
इसका advantage मानो चाहे disadvantage मानो, that is your choice.
नहीं सर, है तो एडवांटेज ही. थैंक यू सो मच सर.
ठीक है.
ओके सर.
Yeah. So I think the assignment is being evaluated by the TAs. They will share the marks as soon as the evaluation is complete and I have reviewed it. I have not reviewed the grading yet for the assignments.
सर मुझे डाउट नहीं था, एक चीज बात करनी थी सर.
Yes, Abhinav.
सर जो आपने क्विज बोला सर, अराउंड वो 4 to 5:30 वाले स्लॉट में होगा ऑन वेडनेसडे, राइट सर?
Yes, on Wednesdays, yes.
सर सो इन लाइक अगर क्विज पॉसिबल हो तो सर 4:15 के बाद का टाइम
Yeah,
से
most
स्टार्ट हो
probably.
सके तो.
Yeah, most probably I will keep it at 5:15.
Yes sir, because I have a TA tutorial session from
Yeah, I
3 to
know.
4, तो वो extend हो
Yeah,
जाता है कभी कभार थोड़ा बहुत.
I know. So I will most probably keep it at 5:15. This is also because I do not want to miss out on the substitute class. It may happen that I may need a substitute class at some times. Then on those class, the quiz will have, I will have a class from 4 to 5:15, and then 5:15 पे quiz शुरू हो जाएगा.
Okay sir, thank you so much.
Okay, so that is the idea. 5:15 पे we will have the quiz then on Wednesdays. ठीक है?
Yes sir.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, sir. So we wanted to just discuss about this assignment with you.
So let the students leave then.
Yes, sure.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye. Sahil, Madhu, you guys can leave. I will stop the recording.